Ever wonder why some people just seem to work less but make way, way more money? It's a question that drove author Robert Kiyosaki, and his answer is this really powerful framework he calls the Cashflow Quadrant. Honestly, it's an idea that might just completely flip how you think about your job, your money, and your future.
So this whole thing started for Kiyosaki because he basically had two dads with two totally different philosophies on money. On one hand, you had his real dad, his poor dad. Super smart guy, well-educated, but he always preached that traditional path. Go to school, get good grades, and find a safe, secure job. But then, there was his best friend's dad, his rich dad, who taught him the complete opposite. Learn how to have money work for you. And that clash of ideas, well, that's the key to everything we're about to unpack.
So how did Rich Dad get this idea across? He drew a simple little diagram, and he called it the Cashflow Quadrant. The best way to think of it is like a map for the entire world of money that shows you not only where you are right now, but where you could end up.
Now, before we break down what all the letters mean, just take a second and ask yourself this one simple question. Where does the majority of your income come from? Your answer is going to place you squarely in one of the four categories we're about to dive into.
And here it is. It's super simple, right? The quadrant is split into the four ways people generate income. You've got E for employee, S for self-employed or maybe a specialist, B for a big business owner, and I for investor. The most important thing to get right now is that each of these isn't just a different job, it's a completely different financial world.
Okay, this is where it starts to get really, really interesting. Because this isn't just about what you do for a living. It's about what you value most. See, if you're an employee, your core value is security. That's why a steady paycheck and benefits are so important. If you're self-employed, it's all about independence. You're the boss, and your motto is probably if you want something done right, you do it yourself. You basically own your own job. But then you look over at the right side, and it's a totally different game. The business owner is focused on wealth creation by building systems. And the investor, they're laser-focused on financial freedom. Their main question is always, what's my return on investment? That difference in mindset is everything. So the big divide here is between the left side and the right side. People on the left, the E's and the S's, they're earning active income. Plain and simple, they work for money. If they stop working, the money stops coming in. But the right side, the B's and the I's, that's all about passive income. They've figured out how to make their money work for them. It's a huge shift from a mindset based on security to one that's all about freedom. So the obvious question is, how do you cross over? How do you get from the left side to the right? And this is maybe the most critical part of the whole book. It's not just about quitting your job and starting a company. According to Kiyosaki, it's a total transformation of who you are at your core, your values, your thoughts, your entire worldview.
And Kiyosaki uses this incredible metaphor to describe it. He says it's not like a caterpillar just crawling to a new leaf. No, it's about a caterpillar literally transforming its entire being to become a butterfly. To really make it on the right side of the quadrant, you have to become someone new.
This brings us to a point that trips a lot of people up. What's the real difference between being self-employed, an S, and being a big business owner, a B? They can look similar from the outside, but Kiyosaki uses this perfect, simple example to make it crystal clear.
Think about that for a second. Can you make a better burger than McDonald's? Yeah, probably. Most of us could. We could use better meat, fresher buns. This right here is the S quadrant mindset. It's about being the best technician, the best chef. Your personal skill is at the center of the entire operation. And then he hits you with the follow-up. This is the billion-dollar question. And the answer for almost everyone is absolutely not. And that is the B quadrant mindset. It's got nothing to do with the hamburger itself. It's all about the system, the machine that can pump out millions of identical burgers all over the world. A system that works perfectly fine whether the founder is there or not. Understanding that difference is the key to everything.
So what does it actually take to build a system like that? You might think it's all about being a genius with spreadsheets and market analysis, but Kiyosaki argues that what he calls financial IQ is actually 90% emotional intelligence. It's about handling your own fear and doubt, managing disappointment when things go wrong, and having the guts to take calculated risks. The technical stuff? That's just the last 10%. All right, so this whole journey, this massive internal transformation, where's it all leading? The reason you'd want to move to the B and I side of the quadrant is to achieve one thing: financial freedom. This, according to Kiyosaki, is how the rich really play the game of money.
And the definition itself is beautifully simple.
Financial freedom is just the point where your passive income, the money your assets generate for you, is greater than your monthly living expenses. That's it. When you hit that point, you don't have to work for money ever again. You work because you want to.
Okay, so that sounds great, but it also sounds incredibly complicated, right? Well, the book breaks down the core strategy using a game that pretty much all of us played as kids. The path to building real wealth, at its heart, follows the exact same logic you use to win a game of Monopoly.
So, what's the secret to winning at Monopoly? It's not just circling the board and collecting $200 every time you pass go. We all know that. The winning formula is simple. You buy 4 little green houses, and then you trade them up for one big red hotel.
So let's translate that to the real world. The strategy is to use your money to acquire smaller, cash-flowing assets. Those are your little green houses. Maybe it's a rental property, dividend stocks, things like that. Once you have enough of them generating income, you can bundle them, sell them, and acquire a much larger cash-flowing asset, your big red hotel. And this is exactly where that 90% emotional IQ comes in, because buying those greenhouses can be scary. You have to manage that fear to follow the plan.
So, when you boil it all down, this whole concept comes back to one central idea. Your ability to do any of this isn't really determined by your report card or your job title. It's determined by your thoughts, your mindset. It's a choice you make.
You know, Kiyosaki often references Napoleon Hill's classic book, and this quote just nails it. The title is Think and Grow Rich, not Work Hard and Grow Rich. The point is, the wealthiest people don't just outwork everyone else. They think on a different level. They understand the systems and the principles of how money really works.
Okay, so let's just recap the big ideas here. First, your quadrant is all about where your money comes from, not what your business card says. Second, moving from the left side to the right side is an internal journey first and an external one second. Third, the whole point of this is to achieve financial freedom, where your assets pay for your life. And finally, none of it can even begin until you change the way you fundamentally think about money.
And we'll leave you with this one last powerful thought from the book. Kiyosaki says if you strip away all the complexity, there's a huge global game being played with money every single day. And the name of that game is Who is Indebted to Whom? Something to chew on, right?